Welcome to another Pinche podcast.
How's it going? We're here with another Pinche podcast. New podcast for today, and I got a new guest. How you doing?
How's it going, man? Phil out of Chicago, part of the original Lowrider team for the
Nice.
show out this way.
Definitely. And so your show just passed.
Yeah, it was May 26th.
And how that go for you? How did the show work out for you?
It went out well. We registered roughly around 800 entries. We were sold out probably in about 4 days.
Mm,
So the original hall was sold out in 4 days, and then we never actually listed the second, third, and fourth hall, and we just kind of register that in the next few days with all the people on standby.
nice.
So yeah.
The was that you did the show the year before too, right?
Yeah, we did the show the year before. We had about I think that one was like 700 entries, and we sold that one out in about 16 hours.
Nice.
Yeah,
So how long have you been doing shows out there in your area?
I've been doing shows since 2010 with the car club that I was in,
Okay. And
about 14 years now.
nice. The So tell us a little bit about like, the car show scene out there in Chicago and getting prepared for these shows and building these shows.
Well, like I could just speak for ours. Like we went from a cruise night of maybe like 20 cars the first time, and then we went in ended up going from a car, the cruise night to a car show. And we were about 80 cars the first year, and then we just kind of was like building on that. And I would want to say like maybe after the fourth year, that's when we hit like we went from like 100 to like 220, and then it just from there. I want to say the 6 years when we were like 350, 400, and
Nice.
for a parking lot show.
Yeah. So what made you get involved in trying to do a full size, car show event with the indoors and everything?
That was always the goal from the start. So like when we started the cruise night, we were just kind of testing to see how it would go. And then when we did the car show, they started getting better and better as the years went by. And then actually, my buddy's dad was in the club, and it's a long story, but he got murdered at his shop. And one of the last conversations that I had with him was he wanted for us to go indoors. And he said, hopefully within the next couple of years, he's like, the show's going, getting the momentum. He's like, we should be able to go indoors. So at least for myself, that was always a goal that I wanted to make sure that my buddy's dad, we accomplished it for him. That was a big dream that he had. We used to see the shows growing up at McCormick Place, at Soldiers Field, the Odeum, when
Mm,
Lowrider magazine used to come back in the day. So that was always that was always a goal, especially for Big Mike, which is my buddy's dad.
okay. And so are you work with there's a more than one of you that are the promoters, or I mean, is it just you or other people that are putting this show together that you just
Uh,
had?
so the show that we just had in Chicago, it's me, my buddy Kyle Reedus out of Kansas, and my buddy John Chuck out of Texas. So
Nice.
we all collaborate to put the show on together. John and Kyle, I've known them probably since 2014.
Mhm.
So John used to come out and judge our show. Kyle I met along the way, and he came out to participate in the show, and then along the way he started promoting shows, and that guy's also he's big into the hopping scene and whatnot, and he's got show cars too.
Yeah, I've been to the Wichita show a couple times.
Yeah.
That's yeah. So yeah, Kyle's cool. Yeah. The so I mean, for the people that missed the show, how did it go? I mean, what can you tell us any highlights or anything? Just kind of like, give me a rundown of what we missed.
What you missed probably was the best way I could describe our show is we never call it a car show like when we were always throwing it. We call it a party.
Mm,
So we like to make it more of a party atmosphere. We had if I had to count off the top of my head, I want to say we had like 6 live bands that were spread out throughout the show. All of them were sponsored from the various car clubs. They were on at
nice.
various times. We had a few different performers going on as far as we had some Chicano rap, we had a freestyle artist, and then we had another artist Angelina Victoria. She was singing a little bit of everything, freestyle, her own personal music that she speaks and sings in Spanish. She did like a little Selena tribute, a few other various songs. We actually had a band walk through the whole show. They were sponsored
Oh
through
wow.
Ronflitos. They came in, walked through, performed by their where their cars are set up, and then they kind of did like a follow, like a lap through the show, holding up their banners or whatnot. We also had Magic from Blood and Blood out there signing autographs. And if I had to count, it was like close. I know last year it was like 22 different states that were represented at the show,
Yeah.
plus Canada. So it's a little bit of
Nice.
everybody, everybody from the Midwest comes out.
Yeah, I went to an event in 2011 out there in Northern Illinois. It was a um, an anniversary thing for the Beatles, and I have not been able to get back out there. I didn't even get to go see Chicago. So that's also one of my goals is to get myself out there to actually go out there and check out the lowrider scene and the events and the city is one of my goals to be out there in general.
Yeah, no, you should come out. I know your guy was out there filming the show and taking pictures this year. Kenny Medina.
Yeah, yeah, kilos.
Yeah, yeah, Kilos Media.
Yeah. Is this the only show you do for the year, or do you do other shows?
Well, our club used to do like 2 to 3 shows a year. So we used to do the beginning of the year show, which was
Mhm.
the big one that we had, and then we would do like another couple of like free shows throughout the year.
Uh-huh.
But I kind of stepped back. I worked a lot of hours. I worked like 6 days a week and probably like close to 60, 70 hours a week. So I just
Yeah.
concentrate on this one.
So with that being said, as being a part of the promotion and having the events, a lot of people, they assume that the promoter is getting, fat pockets, right? But you obviously you have to go to you have your actual job and career or whatever it may be. And when you do it on the side or it's something you still do, it's a passion, right? It's more than just trying to from what I understand, people say it's more than just making
So I can tell you this: when we started doing the cruise night and then we started doing the car shows, I
money.
mean, you just do the math; it doesn't make sense. I mean, like between the trophies, the models, the performers, the security, the insurance policies. Uh, we for I want to say for 12 years, 10 or 12 years, we never charged spectators.
Mhm.
We've always tried to bring out models and performers. So as an example, I know one year at the Kilt, that's where we did one of our shows. We had Georgia James before she was like, as big as she is now. We had Mango Kush. We had Christy V. Uh, we had Do or Die, which is the big rap group out here back in the '90s.
Uh-huh.
We had a stage. Um, we had judges that we flew up from out of state. You just start adding up hotel rooms, judging fees, trophies. Like we would give out the glass trophies, glass cups, hopping belts. I mean, a little parking lot show that we threw probably cost us anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000. And then
Yeah.
you start doing the math, 300 entries times $25. Are
Yeah.
you winning or are you losing?
Exactly.
So I
But
mean, and honestly, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I just love doing it. Like I said, we've gotten lucky that we've hit a lot of people before they blew up. Like we had King Little G out here probably in 2014 before he
mhm.
was the King Little G. We had Heather Moss. Um, she's real big in the tattoo industry. She's
Yeah.
also shot for Lowrider Scene, Lowrider magazines. I mean, pretty much all of them. So it's for us as a passion. Like I said, we brought out Mingo Kush. She ended up becoming a good friend of ours. We
Uh,
pretty much she's part of the staple of the show. She comes out every year. Like I
uh,
said, but once you start adding all that up, man, you got model fees, you got airplane tickets, you got hotel rooms that you got to pay for, not including you got to pick them up from the airport, take them out to eat. Um, my days off, like I tell everybody, you want to know what I do on my day off while you're at home relaxing? I get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, like I go to work, got to go
mhm.
pass out flyers, got to go talk to sponsors. Hope that they will even sponsor you. Pass out flyers that people might just throw in the garbage.
Mhm.
People don't see all that. Give another example. We have a time difference obviously in
Yeah.
California. So I get a phone call at midnight, and my wife we're laying in bed, and she wants to know, so who's calling you at midnight? And I'm like, I got to take this. I'm gonna go to the other room. She's like, who is it? I'm like, hold on, George from Originals out in Cali. Can you say hi to my wife? Yeah, no problem, Felipe. What's going on? I was like, but that's the stuff that people don't see, or like I get constant text messages, phone calls, questions about the show, even though that it's pretty much all online and they can see it. But you know what? I got to answer all these calls, all these texts to make sure that everybody's got the information that they need, not including the negativity that comes with it. Everybody assumes something that is not there.
Yeah.
Sometimes, uh, I don't know. Like perfect example, just before I talked to you, one of my buddies, he's throwing a car show in a couple weeks,
Mhm.
and the DJ canceled on him. So I'm like, you know what? Let me make a few phone calls. I got you, bro. So I just make sure that they had a DJ for their show,
Yeah.
not because if anything, just because of the personal relationship I have with them. I want to make sure their show is successful too.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's a lot of footwork, and one of the reasons, and since I talked to you, said, well, you did the show, and I actually interviewed Mango like a week before, or yeah, something like that, and then, but the thing is the understanding of, because even I, just as a photographer, people always saying how they can do it so much easier if they did it, and it's like, but we don't, when you're working amongst each other, and for me as a photographer, I get to know promoters, I get to know the inside track, I'm there before the show starts or in the background. I see these things, and it does drive me nuts to sit there and hear people always say like, well, I could do it, I can do it, and then it's like, well, go ahead. It's like the same thing with photography. It's like, I could get a camera, go do it. They won't. I got to run around and cover everything all at once at a show. What do you think it does for the people that are running the show? They have to be everywhere at once. And I don't think a lot of people understand that you do a lot of the footwork yourself, because there's only there's only so many people that can do it or want or have the passion to do it.
Oh yeah, like I give you a perfect example. Like at the show that we just had, so I was sitting at the registration booth,
Mm,
as with my wife and there's some on the registration. I get a call from the Rosemont talking about that people are parked 2 blocks away and they're not supposed to be parked in the Rosemont Theater. So I had to get up from where I was at, walk 2 blocks over there, explain it to them. And of course, everybody's like, well, why do we got to go? So you got to explain to them why they got to go. And then they're like, well, we got to wait for so and so. And you got to explain to them, well, do what you need to do, but the cops are coming. It's not on me. And then as
yeah,
I go to the next club, they're like, well, you didn't tell that club. I'm like, bro, you don't even know what I told that club. And then I'm just like, honestly, I go, did you really think that I wanted to walk 2 blocks this way, come over here to go back and forth with you guys, and then I got to walk 2 blocks back that way to go back to the Rosemont to sit in the air conditioning while I'm out here in the heat. I'm like, not
yeah,
that. It's just this is what I got to do. And then as soon as I get back there, then someone else got a question, and someone else got a question. And then it just it's a lot of work that people don't see, and it's a lot
yeah,
it's a lot of stress. And what I tell everybody too is honestly, it's not fair to my wife sometimes because I take a lot of time away from her, and
mm,
she understands. Don't get me wrong, but I'm pretty sure all the promoters they miss out on birthdays or graduations sometimes, or because they're going out of state or passing out flyers or trying to talk to sponsors or whatnot. So
yeah.
it is time consuming.
Oh, definitely. And like I said, I commend you guys, because I know I see it from from behind the scenes, and you're constantly having to ask questions, whatever. You don't ask somebody's question, or you're not as nice as they think you should be when you're getting bombarded like the day of the show. It's just, it's not fair for you, and they hold it all against you at one point.
Oh yeah, no, we get that all the time. Like the the famous thing is like at the registration booth, and like I said, I witnessed it when I was in Dallas this weekend. It's always
Mhm,
like so, which is usually whoever they think is in charge, and
mhm.
it's just because they figure you're not there, so they're like, well, why talk to Phil? Phil said I could do this, and honestly, Phil never said that. You know what I'm saying? But they feel like
Yeah.
or if you don't show certain people certain attention, they feel like you're ignoring them. It's not that. It's just sometimes you got like 1,000 things going on at once. You know?
Oh yeah, I've seen guys go up to, well, I've heard stories, and I said I've seen, but I've had promoters tell me straight up, they've had people directly tell them, so and so said I can do this, and then, oh, that's funny because I am so and so. I don't know who the hell you are.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
No, I've seen that. Like at our show, so there's three of us that throw it. That
Mhm.
are all involved, and they actually went off on one of the guys that was throwing it over a parking situation. It's a long story. Basically, they parked in the fire by the fire door, by the exit doors. So
Yeah.
they moved the cars, and then they went in there and kind of went off on the guy, not realizing that he was the guy that was actually one of the guys throwing the show.
Yeah.
So but it happens all the time. I mean, you kind of get used to it.
Yeah. It's nonstop, and putting a show together and having it organized the best that you can. I mean, what are some of the things you've learned throughout the years that help you just get through the day?
Honestly, just it's repetition. So like we've been doing it so long, like it just kind of seems like you kind of know what to expect, and you kind of know uh, not everything's going to go as planned, obviously, right?
Mm,
But you got to plan as much as you can plan, and then you kind of just make adjustments as you go. What I've learned too is I like to work with people that I worked with in the past because I know that they're reliable. So like as an example, like Mingo, I love working with Mingo. I don't.
mm,
She comes to the show, she drops off her bags, and we like to say she just does Mango. She goes
yeah.
out, comes back, and everything is perfect. We brought out other models, and some experiences were good, some were bad. Performers, I got a guy that a couple guys that they're managers for certain people, and I tell them what time to come. They come, they do their thing,
Yeah.
leave, everything's good. Same thing with my DJs. I kind of like to use the same person over and over. Same thing with my flyers. Uh, Obviously, there's sometimes you can't use the same people because they're busy or whatnot. But like I said, doing it for 12 to 14 years, you kind of already have established relationships with people,
Yeah.
which helps out a lot.
The so this show that just passed, are you keeping it around the same date as every year? Is that the goal to always have it within the same time frame?
So that's funny you asked that because this year we did it in May. Normally, for the last probably I want to say about a good 10 years, we've been doing it in July. It's
Okay.
just the venue, it wasn't available.
Mm.
So we had to move it to May, which was it just happened to be the only date available. But we want to stay in July. That's where everybody's kind of used to out here, and it kind of works out the best. And the other thing too is we try not to step on anyone's toes. So the date that we usually pick, we try not to conflict it with anybody else that does shows, not just in Chicago, but like in the Chicagoland area or
Yeah.
like other states, because we want, like I said, we want to make sure everyone's successful. So we don't want to step on anyone's toes. This year, the date was the only one available, and it didn't really. It kind of conflicted with someone's picnic in Detroit. It wasn't on purpose. It's just we just that was the only date. It was either that or we don't do the show.
Yeah. And I think that's a hard thing too, because I've seen it. I've seen shows across the country and people have something to say like, "Oh, they're having the show in Vegas and it's the same weekend as my show." And it's like, you know, sometimes that's just the way it is. And I know, you can have, I think, in not this weekend because it's Father's Day weekend, but next weekend, there's shows in several different states, and I noticed that I was just talking to somebody else, and there's the show in Atlanta, there's the those dudes, the Hop, there's show in Seattle, there's multiple shows on the same weekend, and they're all around the country.
Yeah, I mean it happens. Like the guy that, like I said, that was helping out with the DJ.
Mm,
His car club is throwing a show in the Chicagoland area. Somos Uno's car club, and it's
mhm.
actually the same day as the one in Atlanta that you're speaking of.
Yeah.
And then usually I go to those dudes picnic. I usually go every year, but this year I'm gonna end up going to the Atlanta show.
Okay.
And I'll be honest with you, like I feel bad not going to those dudes because I go every year, and those guys
Yeah.
usually come out to our show every year. And
Mm,
then Somos Unos, this is their first annual car show that
mm.
they're gonna do. And I feel really bad because those guys they've been coming out to the show probably since we started.
Yeah.
So and again, it's not like on purpose or anything. It's just the show in Atlanta. I'm going to help support those guys as well. So
Nice.
again, if they need any
Actually,
help,
I just finished my podcast recording one with Lalo.
yeah, Lalo's a good dude. So like he's been trying to get me to go out there, man, since forever. And it just always happens that I couldn't make it. And this year,
Yeah.
me and Kyle are gonna go out there and you know help them out if they need anything. If not, just have a good time.
Nice. And yeah, I've talked back and forth with him throughout the years, and I haven't made it happen yet. And I was talking, and one of the things is, as a photographer, there's like events that I go to almost every year, like loyal. And next year, my goal is to go to different events, you know, and when you're doing your own event and you're doing a promote and you're going to these different events, do you see is it really common to see like some of the same cars or same people, or do you think that when you get out you get to see the difference in how people have their shows?
No, it's a big difference. Like I was in Dallas this past weekend, and it's nice because you get to see different cars, meet different people, and then like some people I met that they came out to our show. Like I had a few people that came up to me and said, "Oh man, I was in Chicago, whatever." And then I had some other people said, "Oh man, we're friends on Facebook," and I'm like, "Oh okay, cool, finally get to meet." Or some guys that came out years ago
Yeah,
that I hadn't seen in years, and then just to see the different cars, and then every state it's just different the way people build their cars and their bikes and everything. And for me too, it was a relief, man, because like I was just kind of sitting there while at the registration booth.
mm,
I was like, man, I go, this is so easy, not like it's stress free. Normally, I'm like stressing out at the registration booth, but making sure everything's going right. But
yeah,
and no, I like going out to different states. Like I said, I know I usually go to Milwaukee. I go to Kansas every year for Kyle's show. I went last year to Denver. I go to Iowa for Brad's show that he does out there.
mhm,
Uh, like I said, Pinky and them, they usually have their show in Ohio, but this year's Kentucky. I've been to shows in New Mexico, Waco, Texas, believe it or not. I like me and my wife like to go to the Vegas show. Last year we
yeah,
went for the original show. So yeah, no, it's different. You get to see different cars, meet new people, new
yeah,
experiences.
definitely. And so when you're promoting the events and the people you're involved with that are supposed to to help, you have the names on the flyer and all that stuff like that. Where do what where do you I guess you could say, like, what's the standard for you as a promoter?
As far as what do you mean?
Like, basically, I think sometimes people don't understand, like, how do I get on the flyer or stuff like that.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
it's yeah.
It's all different. Like we have like a sponsorship package, but then we also have like I don't know, like sometimes it just really depends. Like one of my buddies the shop. So he helps out at the show and whatnot.
Mm,
So we put his logo on the flyer. Other people they bring on a band, so we'll put their logo on the flyer. Like this year, House of Color sponsored us. We put them on the flyer, and they had a booth. Last year, Crazy Cutting they sponsored us, so they were the title sponsor. Like I said, it's different sponsorship packages. Um, we have them starting off as low as a couple $100, and they kind of go up from there.
yeah,
And each package is different. Believe it or not, everybody thinks that you make. And again, I can only speak for my show. I can't speak the one I'm
yeah,
involved. I can't speak for anyone else. Getting sponsors is not as easy as people think, and you're not getting as much as people think. And then with all the shows that are going on, there's only so much people are going to sponsor because either they're
yeah,
sponsoring everybody, or they only want to sponsor one show, or they're trying to sponsor as many as they can, and they can't sponsor too much because they're trying to spread the money around.
yeah. The So are you born and raised in Chicago, or you are
Yeah,
that
no,
area?
born and raised.
Okay. And how have you seen the community, the lowrider community out there?
It's very tight knit. I mean, everybody knows everybody. Uh,
Mm,
for for the most part, like I started getting into the scene around '97,
mhm.
so there's a lot of new faces. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of old faces as well. And then, like I said, everybody kind of supports everybody. Like I'll give you a perfect example. Like usually everybody we throw a Christmas banquet out here for the toy drive. All the
Yeah.
car clubs come. Say if it's your 25th anniversary, the banquet is not just open to them; it's open to everybody. And for the most part, all the car clubs come on and get a table, or a few members show up, and everybody knows everybody. So
Yeah.
um, we used to have a council out here. I think that was a big part of it, and it's kind of funny because when I was in Dallas, I had seen this guy Renee that was part of a car club out here called Puto Familia,
Mhm.
and he's like, "Oh man, what are you doing out here?" He's like, "Man, my brother's gonna be up the next day." And sure enough, his brother was up here. And then my other guy, Triple J, was at a tattoo convention in Dallas, and he's seen the flyer. He goes, "Man, where you at?" "I'm at the Dallas show, bro." He goes, "Send me the info, bro. I'll be right there." So I
Nice.
sent him the info. He showed up. So like I said, it's real tight knit. Tight knit. Everybody knows everybody. Um, everybody tries to support everybody.
And then out there in well, I know for because like I said, I went there in 2011. It was the year right after the big blizzard that they had. And one of the things that they said was like your lowrider scene is very short lived because of the summer. because of the winters that you have in that area.
Oh yeah, so like you probably, if you're lucky, you probably get from May to, I would say maybe September. You're kind of pushing it, just kind of depends on the weather, and then it kind of sucks because like on some, like we had shows that we had to cancel and postpone them and move to a different day because it just happened, it rained
Uh-huh.
on that Sunday, and then on Monday it's beautiful out, right? So, but it, it's real short. Like I said, we probably got 4 or 5 months at the most, and then like we used to always joke around and say that like in Cali, for an example, you got a chrome shop and a rim shop on every corner. We
Yeah.
got a liquor store. We don't got all the chrome shops, the interior shops. So it's just a different animal out here. I mean, a lot
Yeah.
of these guys. There's shops out here too. Johnny Rivera is probably one of the best painters out here. Same thing with Mike Montoya.
Mhm.
Um, but we don't have probably as many interior shops, paint shops. So
Yeah.
I know Johnny, for an example, he's backed up. I want to say 2 to 3 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's yeah. And then getting someone to move out there to keep. Well, they never know. You open up a shop and get business, but you got to be good.
yeah. Well, I
The
know. Yeah, I know Mercado's coming out here and he's doing some work at Montoya.
nice. The do they still have that show up there in Northern Illinois? I think I'm trying to remember. It was maybe around June. I think it's an annual event, but it's not just a lowrider show, but it's like a car show they have out there in the town up there.
Yeah, it's Scoop the Loop. Is that the one
I,
you're talking about? It's like a 3 day show. They kind of have it outside.
I'm not sure. It was I went there, like I said, in 2011, and then we went up there, and I want to say it was like really close to Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's probably it. It's called like in Round Lake. It's called it's like a 2 3 day show where it's like you can cruise on the street, and then at the same time
Oh,
it's like a car show.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think I went out.
actually it's in July. It's the second weekend in July.
Okay, yeah, I think that's about right. It's been a while, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's the only time I went out there, and then I didn't even get a chance. Like I said, I didn't even get a chance to like go see the city. But it was cool because we went out there. It was a Vejitos event, and I went out there, and they picked us up in the cars at the airport.
yeah. No, those guys, that's like their big thing. Their big
Mm.
show. Like I know they sponsor it. They give them like a big section. And a
Yeah,
lot of the clubs, like in Northern Illinois, that way they go to it every year.
nice. Yeah, the I was well when I went out there, they had a that like to me it was like an overpass, but it was like a place where you can go eat. We stopped there. There was like it's like it goes from one side of the freeway to the other, and it's all food
Okay. Yeah, I'm
like
not too
food stuff.
familiar with that area.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they took me it was a weird way, but anyways. The I like I said, I've been trying to figure out how to get back there and go cover some events and it's been a minute. So I'm trying to figure that out because starting next year I'm gonna start going to different shows that I haven't been to. And that's pretty much a goal. And it's also why I'm, talking to the different promoters and seeing how everything goes. But we went to Dallas, you said, which was Sunday? Was it Saturday or
Yeah, it was
Sunday?
this past. So it was this past Sunday.
Okay. And how was that for how was that event?
I thought it went well. I know there was two separate buildings. Both of the buildings were pretty much packed, and then like I said, they had some cars outside as well. For me, it was my first time in Dallas, so it was a different experience. Like I said, the cars they were. I mean, I've never seen so many show cars in one hall.
Oh wow.
It was really nice. Like I said, and they had cars from all over Texas, and then surrounding states as well. It
And
was a good time.
so with all the I don't know, I want to say um, with the events that you have thrown, what is one of the biggest lessons that you've learned that you had to figure out since you started?
I believe Mango said it best. You can't please everybody
Mhm.
because no matter what you do, you can't please everybody. So
Mm.
that's probably the biggest lesson that I learned. And then at the same time, one of the other lessons I've learned is you just kind of have to plan for everything. And
Yeah.
but like I said, I mean, for the most part, it's just really like you got to be very personable.
Yeah.
Answer your phone. Don't ignore everybody. Show everybody respect. Just treat people the way you want to be treated,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
everything will be fine.
The well, let me ask you this too. With the the stuff they always cover on the news is always negative. In the lowrider community out there in Chicago, because I've never really got to ask anybody this, but they always talk about violence, which every place has. They just always want to focus on one thing or another. But with all this stuff that sometimes happens out there, or what stereotype they say happens out there in Chicago area, the lowrider community, how do you navigate through that?
Honestly, like I said, it's very tight knit. We've really never had any problems at any of the shows or picnics for the most part. I mean, obviously you're gonna have disagreements and maybe heated conversations, but
Mhm.
for the most part, like we never really had to deal with anything like that. Like I said, knock on wood, we've been very lucky.
Yeah.
Um, at our show this past this past May that we had, there was a couple like minor situations, but they got handled either internally from the club or another club made sure that everything was squashed. But for the most part, we really never had any problems like that. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, there's probably a picnic or a car show every week out here, and but like I said, for the most part, everybody knows everybody. So whatever happens, it just kind of gets diffused really quick. And like I said,
Okay.
for the most part, everybody just gets along.
Yeah. The yeah, because I always kind of wondered that too. I mean, like I said, I haven't been out there for a long time, and um how the mix of the cultures are out there, with the car culture and stuff like that. Um with the lowriders out there, they have, what are the other car cultures that are there that are prominent in that area? Like hot
Uh,
rods or
yeah, just pretty much like everywhere. You got the hot rods, obviously. Muscle cars, hot rods, whatever you want to call them.
Mhm.
The big rim cars. Um, I know my one guy. He's kind of he's well known in the big rim. The racing scene.
Yeah,
Playboy. They'll be racing the box Chevys or whatever. On the 22s, 24s, 26s.
that's crazy. I've been watching that, and I've been looking at that, and I'm just like, wow. They're putting in some serious engine work, and to get that scene going. And I'm still, I advocate to tell people that that still came from low riding.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's same thing, man. He's he's probably throws one of the biggest whatever they could big rim racing at the tracks. He probably throws the
Um,
biggest one of the biggest shows in the Midwest. He
nice.
kind of went viral on World Star, but like I said, out here it's just like anywhere. It's like the culture is like a little bit mixed. Like we get a lot of big rim cars, we get some mini trucks, we get low riders. And when we say Chicago, like everyone says Chicago, but it's always like gotta tell everybody it's the Chicagoland area, bro. We get cars from like Aurora, Joliet, Waukegan, Round Lake. We get guys that come as far as Milwaukee that come to shows and picnics on a regular, not including
Yeah.
like Saginaw, Michigan, Ohio, Detroit. Like it's just like for our show, like I said, we get a mix of everybody from like different states. Like I said, that's why we try not to step on anyone's date. And for the
Yeah.
most part, it's like kind of respected. Like everybody knows, like Pinky and them, they always throw their show. Those dudes, it's always like the last weekend, usually in June.
Uh-huh.
Majestics, Detroit, they throw it Memorial Day weekend.
Mhm.
Every year. Trying to think what else. Like our show was always in July, so the Atlanta show. I know they've had a few different dates, but like I said, for the most part, everybody has the same date every year.
Yeah. Do you guys have uh next year's date yet?
Yeah, I can't really put it out there because we got to wait to sign the contract, but it looks like it's
Yeah.
going to go back to July.
Okay. That's and so let me, yeah, keep me informed on those dates. I can see what I can do about getting out there.
Oh yeah, no, we talked about it, so we'll see what we can do. Once we get the date finalized and everything. A couple of the photographers out here, they've asked about you. I'm sure you know him on Instagram, Chicago Low, my guy
Mhm.
Manny, and
Yeah.
then Steve from Together Car Club.
I know, also know, Martin. Oh my goodness, I forget it. He's been out here before. It's funny because there's a couple guys from San Jose out there that have the same last name as mine. And I don't know if they're related or not. But yeah, there's a couple guys out there from San Jose actually that I know, that I met when I went out there the one time.
Oh,
So
okay.
Yeah, but I mean, you have different people from everywhere over there that are living out there now.
Oh yeah, no, we got a lot of yeah. It's like I said, the scene's totally different. Like we have a lot of people that came from Cali,
Mm.
either to for whatever reason. But we have I want to say a couple guys. One of the photographers he came from. I want to say from San Jose. If is it Calderon? If you're talking about.
Uh, I don't, I know Calderon. I know I
Yeah,
met
I think
him.
he's from out that way.
Yeah, I think the original, some of the original were like northern. Some of them are from Northern California. But that's the thing, though. I mean, when I just remember being out there, everybody was hella cool, and I was just like, this is a vibe. Like, especially, don't get me wrong, I haven't really hung out with that, other car clubs out there, but when you hang out with Vejitos, you better expect a party.
Oh,
you know,
those guys are all about partying, bro. I'm sure you met Puppet then, right?
yeah,
He's the tattoo artist. Yeah, he's a
yeah.
good dude, bro. Like that guy likes to party, have a good time. Like I said, they actually had a DJ at the show, bro. So like it was crazy. So like you had in the beginning of the show you had a band which was Ron
Mm,
Felitas, and then Together had a band later on, and then the middle of the show was Viejitos. And they had a DJ all day, and then
nice.
and like I said, like we all help each other out. So like where they throw their car show, actually they throw it every Memorial Day, and our date
Mm,
just landed. He ended up moving the date for us, and then where they have because we're gonna do the hop inside the building, so where
mhm.
they do their car show, they helped out and let us, use their spot, and then they helped out with the crowd control and whatnot. And yeah, like I said, those guys are all good dudes.
I think a lot of people don't understand, but it's a great thing about lowrider community, and I tell people all the time, you don't really know until you know, and you're inside, because there's a lot, there's all the stereotypes and everything. They think it's just all old gangsters, young gangsters, and drug dealers, and everything else like that. But when you're in a tight knit community, there's a lot of people that go out the way just to make sure you're good. And I don't think people ever realize that that's really more of how lowrider culture is.
Oh yeah, I mean like honestly, like I get a lot of phone calls, people either asking me what I need for the show, how they could help out, or like Juan, I was like, man, I was like, I don't got a spot, bro. He's like, I got you. Right away offered it, said he'd help out and whatnot. Normally my guy Frank, he's the one who does the hop for us because I don't like messing with it, so he'll do all the stuff with the hop. And like I said, it's just different. I mean, like I said, I could only speak for our experience. Like a lot
Yeah.
of we know each other. We see each other every Sunday. It's a smaller scene out here, obviously, than California. So everybody kind of just tries to help out as much as they can. Same thing with me. I was actually when in the Dallas show, one of my guys was trying to like low key like, hey, so what's up with Magic, the actor, bro? And I was like, you want to talk to him? You need him for
Oh,
your show? I'm like, I got you, bro. Here you go. Here's the number. I called him up right there. Hey, my guy Omar is interested in booking you. I
yeah.
said, I just want to make sure it's cool to pass the number. He's like, yeah. So he hit him up. I don't know whatever they worked out, but
Nice. That whole set of actors is really making rounds right now, aren't they?
oh yeah, it's crazy. So we had Damien Chapa last year. That guy probably had a 2 hour wait
Wow.
just for people to get an autograph. And then Magic consistently he came when I went over there to check on him. He's like, man, he's like, I haven't had a break like in 4 hours.
Oh God, that's a lot.
So yeah, but those guys, yeah, they've been doing their thing.
Yeah, definitely. The crowd, when you tell people you're gonna have them there, one of those actors there, what's the response usually through, like, just like the people you deal with when they register and stuff like that for the show?
Like I said, they can't get enough of those guys, bro. I mean, you know how iconic that movie is. It's a cult classic. Everybody
Mm,
can't wait to see either take a picture or get an autograph. Like I said, the line with Miklo, bro, they literally was probably waiting there an hour before he even. As soon as they seen where the booth was set up, they were waiting there for an hour before he showed up. Same thing with Magic. I had a girl tell me on Saturday that she was gonna put her chair there so she could be the first one in line.
wow,
And then I've had buddies hit me up saying, "Hey man, I can't make it. Could you make sure you get an autograph for me?"
nice. Yeah, so like people like that bring it, they bring the other crowd. Once again, it still comes down to, back in the day. We like, the lowrider. I don't know. We live in the past. I think a lot of lowrider people. We live in the past, and we want to show. But we want to show the future and now, but we just like we're very nostalgic people. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah, I mean, and again, like I said, I think that movie is just very iconic. A lot of people either grew up watching it or
mm,
now they're watching it with their kids because And I always say it too. You're right because I think we all like are stuck in eras, and I always say like I'm stuck in the '90s. Like that's the music I like, the way you dress,
mm,
just the way people are. Like my dad, bro. My dad loves oldies,
yeah,
you know, but he's from that era.
yeah. I love oldies, but I burned out oldies. I'm right now. I'm stuck on old school funk.
Okay.
The so when you're booking the booking the performers and everything for these events, what are you looking for? And speaking of the nostalgic, kind of to get the crowd in there.
I just like I said, I think every city is different. Just kind of like you just kind of have to cater to what the people want, and at the
Hmm.
same time, like you got to just see what's in the budget and all that. Like I said, we just been very blessed. Like we've had Do or Die come out a few times, Crucial Conflict. One of my buddies, Big Mex, and his buddy Moreno Brown, they hooked me up with King Little G before
Mm.
King Little G kind of blew up. I don't know if you remember that little kid DJ, DJ Baby Chino. He used to DJ out in the Vegas shows. He was like
I think I
7, 8
remember.
years old. Yeah, we
Mhm.
brought him out before, like when he was still young. Uh, Out here, again like every city is different. Like out here, freestyle house music's a big thing.
Oh, that's
Um, so we kind of cater to that.
that's also big in Northern California. The freestyle high, all that music is like my older cousins. That's all they ever listen to,
Oh
and
yeah.
but that there's a big following. But I've been to other places where they play that music and they're like, "What's this?" And they're like, "What do you mean, what's this? You don't know what it is? You know what
Oh
freestyle house is?"
yeah. So when I told my buddies that are doing the show with me, I was like, man, we need to get a freestyle artist, and they're like, you got an artist for free?
Yeah,
I was like, no, it's freestyle. And they're like, what is that? I go, don't worry about it. I got you guys. Don't worry about it.
yeah,
We're good.
yeah. Or they think it's rapping without
Yeah.
you know, random stuff like that. That's funny. On your Instagram, it's I put your Instagram up address up here, the Royalty Clothing Company. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Is that something you do, or
Yeah. No. So I sell T-shirts. So like the one we got on with the event shirt. Like that's one that's from our brand. Um, probably been doing it since probably about 2014, 2015. Um,
mm,
just it's kind of like OG Able, Dice One, DJ, like just lowrider style T-shirts. So like
nice?
we just did the event shirts for our show in Dallas.
Okay.
So
So the when you work with your partners, is that one of the main reasons why you're traveling to all these other shows too? You guys are all just showing support with amongst each other as business colleagues and stuff like that, or
well, see, that's kind of like crazy that you say that because like that's what everybody thinks. But so as an example, Kyle came out here when we did it at a small sports bar in like 2014, and then
Mhm.
he invited me to his show out there. I got a vendor booth, and then we just kind of hit it off, and then he started doing a tour. So
Mhm.
we were part of the WeGo tour,
Yeah,
and we just we always just kept in touch. And then like I said, my other partner John, he was the head judge, and then we got on his tour that they started judging our show. And we just became friends, and then and then if I go to his show or he went to my show, he'd always ask, hey, you need me to do anything? Nobody was paying nobody. It
yeah,
was just out of support. Now, yeah, he has a few different shows, and I went there to help him out, and then he also gave me a booth and whatnot. And like last year in Denver, I was out there. My wife was selling T-shirts, and I was out there parking cars. You know, in Vegas, we went to the Joe Ray show, did a
mhm,
booth. Same thing. I got there, and they're like, "Hey, you think you could sit here and help park cars?" Well, I wasn't actually parking them, but like to make sure that they, before they get in the building, stopping
yeah,
them. I was like, "Yeah, I got you." So I was out there probably, which was supposed to be vacation, and for like 8 hours, they just be like, "Hey, you wait until Mike tells you to go," But it's
yeah,
all good. I mean, like I said, when Mike came out here, he did the same thing for us. Like anything he needed, he took care of it. So it's
yeah.
just about helping each other out.
Yeah, I get that. I think like 2 years ago, the Long Beach show, they were moving cars in, and I'm a photographer, right? So I'm trying to get in on for move in and go get my content, but then I could even like sneak by. There's trailers. They got all jammed up. I got out the car. because they had the event people um guiding traffic, the ones that come with the facility, not
Yeah,
even the lowrider people, and they screwed up everything. It was just completely jam locked up. I got out the car and I pulled my car to the side. I got out and I start, you got to go. You stop. Can you back up? And these are the cars with cars on the trailers. These are, lowriders driving in, but they were stuck. No one could get by. So I had to go in there and I went out there and talked to everybody clear. And I don't know, I didn't know shit about the promoters. I didn't know nothing about anything, but I was just like, hey, we're stuck. Can we, whatever. And luckily for me, I have the shirt all the time. So people are like, oh, okay. But I think some
yeah,
people think I just care about the camera. And I'm just like, I'm still part of this, and that's why I do it, because I love it, and I hate to see when things get too hectic, and it's like, okay, I can put the camera down, or I could help you out, or I could help with parking cars or moving, and no one asked me. I just decided, hey, I'll help you.
yeah. No, yeah, that's probably like no one understands. Like the movement is just like it's crazy. It's like it's super hectic. Nobody wants to listen. Everybody's trying to hurry up and get in. Everybody's trying to hurry up and leave. Everyone could park a trailer, but not everybody can park a trailer. If you know what I mean. And
Yeah,
uh, no, like one of my buddies, a good buddy of mine, Jason. He comes out every year and he helps us out. Uh, he always tells me what time you need me there and just point me in direction him. I got another one of my buddies, Mikey. Same thing. He comes out and helps. With another buddy, Dre. They come out the last couple of years, and anything we need, that we just ask them. And Kyle has a group of guys. John has a group of guys. Like they all come in, pitch in, do what we need to do.
did you have a hop at the show this year?
Yeah, like I said, we had a hop, but we couldn't do it inside the building.
Mm.
So it was out in Elgin, which is about
Oh,
30
okay.
minutes from the venue, at a
Okay.
little sports bar.
All right. The well, I mean, when next year comes around, just let me know when you're, even if you know the date officially, you can't put it out there. Just give me a heads up, and I'm gonna see if I can put it on the calendar.
Yeah, no,
Just
before
myself.
when we get off, I'll invite you the possible dates. Like I said, I just don't want to put them out there because like
No,
it's not locked in with the venue. Because we actually had an issue with that one year.
yeah,
Actually, 2 years ago, we put the date out. Well, we didn't put the date out. We told somebody the date, and they put it out there before we signed the contract with the venue.
yeah. Subject to
So like,
change.
yeah,
When you do so, I'll ask this: when you do a show, what is it, a year or 6 months when before you can lock the date in? I mean, at any venue.
it just depends on the venue. So then obviously like people don't understand too. Like you got to pay the union bills and all that stuff, and a lot of that stuff's got to be taken care of before you can lock in the date for the following year.
Yeah.
And then you
So
gotta go ahead.
no, no. That's funny that you said the union, because some of these venues are union ran venues. Their workers are union, and if you have a show on a Sunday, it costs you more.
Oh yeah, well nobody understands that. Like I had to tell somebody, they were asking certain questions, and I tried to be like as honest as possible. And I was like, man, I
Mm,
go, we got to pay a dude like $120 an hour just to tape the floors, you know, just to put the little markings where you guys are
yeah,
parking your cars, like, and everything. Uh, you know, on Sunday is probably double time because it's union, and
yeah,
like I tell everybody this all the time, and everybody likes getting union wages, just nobody likes to pay union prices. If
yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like, but like these are all the little things that I like to shine a light on. Like for me, like I don't ask like how much did you spend for this car show. That's none of my business, and it's nobody else's business. But what they don't realize is that that is a real main concern for anybody throwing an event. That the thing is that people that just go to the events and they think, well, I can do it better. Okay, well, do you have 100 grand to put down on a all indoor venue that can hold this many cars? It's like you're limited to how many cars you can have in an indoor venue. you're you got to figure out if you're going to do one hall, two hall, three halls, like you said. And there's a certain amount of money that goes behind that. And what I learned a lot couple years ago, just recently, like they charge you by the watt hour of like electricity, lighting. You want to run the AC, they charge you by that hour too. And then no wonder why when they're doing move in, they don't have the AC on and the lighting's crap. And I know a lot of photographers cry about that, but I'm like, dude, I'm not,
Well, the best way I could describe it or tell people, if it's that easy, we live in an age where everybody has access to the internet. Call the venue yourself and find out what it is. And if you think you could do it, go ahead and try. Nobody's hating on you. Do your thing. I hope you're successful. And at the end of the day, it's a lot more work, time consuming than a lot of people think. Like I tell people too, like when people try to like boycott or do certain things, I'm like, and it's not just me. It could be anyone that's
yeah,
throwing a show. It's like you got to understand there's a lot of time and money that goes into it, and how, and the person that's throwing the event, like they're responsible for all that. So if it
yeah,
goes well, then it's cool. But if it doesn't go well, who's on the hook for all that? Not everybody wants to seem to understand it, and then at the same time, like it's not what everybody thinks it is. And then you got to put deposits down. You got to worry about the fire marshal, insurance policies, the stage, like everything that where we do it at, everything has to go through the union.
yeah.
People are like, oh, why don't you got this taco guy or this food vendor? I'm like, because everything's got to go through the concessions, got to go through the building.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
so
they
why
think
does
you
it
get,
cost? But
they think you get the when you do the building, you don't get any money from the concessions. That's all the facility.
oh, 100%. So like I actually had a liquor company that wanted to sponsor, and they couldn't because they get all the concessions. And I had another taco guy that wanted to come out, and he couldn't because it has to go through the building.
Yeah.
People don't seem to understand that. And like I said all the time, go on your phone, Google it, call them up, and you'll find out.
Yeah, we're in this. I don't know. Society is still weird because the people will ask you the questions and they can easily Google and find out the actual answer. I mean, and they're standing right in front of you with their phone in their hand, and you're like, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I get that all the time. Or like even like certain questions with the roll-in or the registration is like, oh,
Mm,
that's not what it says, and then I'll just screenshot it and send it to them. I'm like, here you go. Like you just didn't read everything, which I get too.
yeah,
Sometimes not everybody's computer savvy, or sometimes they're just in a hurry or an excitement. They just click and go.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, the computer savvy. I know a lot of old school lowriders. They just like I don't get on that. I don't get on social media. I don't get on any this that or whatever. And I've had people that want to like they want to advertise through me, but they don't want no one message them through Instagram because they don't want to deal with it, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And we're still, I think we're still in the past, and we're moving through the future. And these events are where the new generations are learning about this culture, and we're here to guide and show people what we're doing, and we're living the dream nowadays. I mean, I think the older generations is living their dream of having these cars. They're working really hard to show them off. They're working really really hard to pay for all these things. And people like you that have these events give them the opportunity to show off all that hard work.
Oh yeah. No, like I said, I mean, like I tell everybody, like this year alone, I think we had close to 100 lowrider bikes that registered for the show.
Mhm.
Those are, obviously a lot of them are younger kids that are getting into this, which is cool because that means now there's a younger generation because
Yeah.
that eventually they're gonna end up building cars or whatnot, and they're into this, and it's cool to see them, riding their bikes through the show, or they're now the RC thing is like the big thing. Like we had a little RC Boulevard that was sponsored by John Twitty from I want to say it's Candy Customs out
Mhm.
of Texas, San Antonio.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so yeah, no, it's different. It's like it's everybody's different from the '90s. Like some stuff
Yeah.
we don't see anymore. Some stuff like the RC cars wasn't a thing back then.
Yeah.
Now it's a huge thing.
Yeah. They had the model cars, but the not like this RC craze is nuts. And they're pouring money into it left and right. And I see now I've actually recently seen a couple months back where now people are recording their kids, they're teaching them how to paint these cars. like literally teaching them how to stripe them and everything else on that model scale.
Oh wow.
It- I'm thinking to myself, wow, now we're really going to be creating a lot of new artists and the next painters in the generation that's going to have this talent, and it's more so than, I mean, of course, the Lord of bikes and the cars, but when you start influencing, I mean, you're talking about like young kids, like under 10, that are starting to learn how to paint these cars themselves.
Oh yeah, well, just like the hopping scene, I don't know how many times you go out there and you see these kids, and they're teenagers or even 10, 11 years old, and they're out there hopping these cars. Like that's crazy. But they love it.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah, definitely. But like, yeah. So like I was saying, the fact that you throw these events, it's very appreciated. I know it is, because people work really hard to show off these cars. And some people don't always understand that. Some people don't understand that if a car wins number one at a show, the owner wins, the painter wins, the body man wins, the engine guy wins, the chromer, the engraver, the interior. They all get to brag that car that they had put, some kind of effort into, even though the owner paid for it, but they get to brag that car won number one at that show.
Oh yeah, like I tell everybody all the time, like the owner wins, but the first thing everyone says is that's a California customs upholstery. That's a sick paint job, or that's a Coast One paint job. Those are Dayton's, or those were Superior wheels. That's a one-off from Hoppos. Those are uh,
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. That's murals by so and so. That's a Candyman paint job. It's like, so yeah, you're right. The owner wins, but then everybody's kind of like, oh, that chrome is from Speedy or from Corona, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's crazy cutting. Or that's Hernan that did the engraving. So it's like, it's crazy because like you have these guys, or Hector did the moon roll, for whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
everybody that's really into this, believe it or not, they could point out exactly who did the work, or they're interested in who did the work, because they
Yeah.
want to either get them for themselves or one of their club guys or whatnot.
No, absolutely. But like, that's that's the biggest thing I kind of explained. Some people don't get it, and I get people ask me these questions all the time. But I think when the cars win these events, everybody wins, and their efforts and everything else come into it. And it's not just the winners; the people participate. The fact that there's people in there that go to these shows, no matter what, and they're not a full custom car, but they're a lowrider, and they go because they want to show their car off. So people get to see it, and we don't you don't really get that. You can go cruising and everything else like that, but in a controlled environment with entertainment and everything like that, it's the show promoters that are putting out the biggest risk to do all these things, to give these people the opportunity to show off their rides.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like out here, like I said, it's a little bit different because a lot of the scene is just not, obviously, like I said, it's not California, so it's
Mm.
a little bit different. Like a lot of the show cars, some of them do cruise, and some of them they just mostly do shows, maybe picnics. And then
Yeah.
like you have some guys that they'll just bring out their car like once or twice a year, just
Yeah, I think
depending.
that's everywhere.
Yeah, but no, like I said, it's just it's a gratifying experience at the same time, but it's a lot of hard work. Like I tell everybody, like this is my baby. Like I've seen it grow from 20 cars to what it is now. I've been lucky and blessed that my wife has been very supportive and letting me to allow. I'm not gonna say allowing me to do this, but just supporting what I love to do.
Hmm.
And then throughout the years, I met great people, that's either helped out, or now, like I said, with Kyle and John, I mean, the three of us text each other or call each other almost every day, kind of go over the show stuff. Like we were already talking about, like it's funny because my wife's like, you guys don't take a break, and I'm like, I go, we're not, like, so like say in May, I go, we're not even planning this year, we're already planning next year. She's like, it's
Yeah.
not even here. I'm like, but you got to plan.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's gratifying when you see people walking around saying they have a good time. They
Hmm.
can't wait till next year. And obviously, you're still gonna have some people that are never satisfied, but it just comes with the territory.
Yeah.
Um, I like the fact that what I'm saying, like you see these guys get all excited that the show is coming up, or they see what entertainment's coming up, or they see what models are coming out. You know, um, like I said, it just for me, it's a cool experience. And then at the same time, Um, I wish my guy Big Mike was around, before he passed away to see this. But every year, I always think about him and saying that he would he would have loved this. You know,
Yeah.
it was like one of his dreams and goals.
Yeah, and I'm glad you had that. You're holding it down, and it's an inspiration to take that, what that somebody that cared about the lifestyle, and you've only grown. Um, you know, it's I appreciate your time, and coming on my podcast. And I'm really glad. There's a lot of things that people just don't understand about what it takes to throw these shows, and it's people like you that give us the opportunity. I wouldn't have as much of a photography career if it wasn't for promoters and having these events too. So it works for everybody.
Yeah, no, like so, like I did a live a while back, and the best way I kind of described it is like hip hop, right? So like hip
Mm.
hop, you got your DJs, you got your b boys, you got your rappers, your MCs. You know what I'm saying? Like there's multiple your airbrush people. Like there's multiple things that make hip hop, and that's the same
Yeah,
thing with like I believe with lowriding. You got your photographers who are a big part of it. You got your models, you got your promoters, you got your show cars, you got your street cars, you got your hoppers, you got your lowrider bikes. The motorcycles is a huge thing right now. You know, the
yeah,
vehicles, that's a huge thing. Then obviously you got the people who build the cars, the chrome, the painters, the chromers. Like it's just it's more than just what people think. You know, it's a lot that goes into it. Without one, you can't have the other. You know,
yeah,
a lot of people sometimes don't believe that, but at the end of the day, like the cars are not getting built, you can't throw shows. But then if a guy's not promoting a show, you don't have a show, and everybody's doing their part in it.
yeah. It works in tandem. It's all one a promoter's going to get motivated by the lifestyle growing, and the people that build the cars are going to be motivated by the opportunities for the shows from the shows. So it works.
Yeah.
Definitely. The So like I said, so you don't have any other events? You're going to be going to Atlanta? Anywhere else you're going to be going to after that?
I do know I'm going to go to Atlanta, and then I'm going to go to Denver for the original Lowrider show.
Mhm.
I'm going to go to Kansas for the original Lowrider show out there. I'm going to Milwaukee for Mexican Fiesta. So it's a car show slash festival.
Okay.
I'm going to go to Rockford for a festival. Vegas, I'm not sure yet. They haven't posted the date for the original Lowrider show, so I don't know what's going on with that. But I
Mm.
do know I might go out for the one in September or October,
Okay.
whenever that one is.
October, the first weekend of October, I think.
Yeah, so
It's the
like I
fourth.
said, normally we go to Vegas every year, so we kind
Yeah.
of try to do it around one of the car shows.
Yeah, I'm going I plan on going to Vegas for that event. I want to go to the Hops, and I heard it's just one way or the other it's Vegas. It's a big ass party.
Oh yeah, no, I love Vegas. That's actually me and my wife. We plan on hopefully one day moving out there when we retire.
Oh, okay. Nice.
But
The
yeah, no, like I said, we try to travel everywhere, so as
yeah.
many places we can go.
I think Vegas you can get to a lot of places pretty easy from there too if you travel outside of it. You know.
Yeah, that's like 5 hours pretty much from like what Phoenix, San Diego, LA.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an 8-hour drive for me, so I only fly.
Oh,
Well, once in a while I'll make the drive, but I've done it a couple times and it's a lot. It sucks because you got to drive through the desert. So 1 hour flight versus 8-hour drive. It's a big deal.
oh no, I get it because like every year we drive out to Kansas, and
Mm,
I told my buddy this year, I was like, yeah, bro, we're flying. It's an hour and a half. No,
exactly.
same thing in Atlanta this year. I'm like, we're flying. Dallas, I flew. Uh,
Mm,
Especially too, because like this is the other thing people don't understand is like I only get so many vacation days. So like if I go to a show, like say an example in Kansas, I got
yeah.
to take off Friday, Saturday because I work both those days. Shows on Sunday, and now I got to take off Monday. I got to take
Yeah.
off all those days just to go to that one show.
Yeah.
So this year, what I've been trying to do is go to more shows, but I just was like, you know what, I'm just gonna fly out there instead of
Yeah,
driving.
and you have the better but it just saves you energy. I think that's what it comes down to. Like I can sit there and say I want to drive and take all my stuff with me, but fly and not be tired. You know what I mean? So, I
Yeah,
mean, and I think that one thing about the shows, and this is something I've been telling a lot of people, and some people that I've talked to before through the years, is you want to make your show a destination show. Really, what it comes down to is when people start hearing that it's a good show, you're going to start attracting the people from out of town, if whether they're bringing a car to show or they just want to fly out and go see something different. if it becomes something that's a destination, they're gonna make the trip and to make it a thing.
Yeah, no, it's funny you said that because that's why I say when we talk about the show, it's like we don't want to say it's like obviously it's a car show, right? But
Yeah,
we try to say it's like a party slash. We want to make it an experience, something that people will say, man, that was pretty cool. They tell their buddies or whatnot, or they just want to come every year. So it's like
yeah,
because at the end of the day, I mean, people are there to have a good time and make memories. So it's like you're trying to give them a memorable experience, and like you said, a little all of that plays a hand in it. The models, the entertainment, the cars. It's just like uh, if they've seen an actor there that they might have, oh wow, look at they had this guy there. So we try to do as much as possible as we can. Obviously, everything has to be within a budget, because
yeah.
some stuff adds up really quick. And some people don't understand it. Like I had some guy tell me, "Hey, could you help me plan a show?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I go, "Just give me your budget and we'll go from there." And he's like, 2,500. I was like,
For
"Yeah,
what?
bro, we can get you some trophies and a DJ to do it for free." And
Yeah,
then he was like, "Well, I need a model. Could you get so and so?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So once you pay her plane ticket, her hotel, and her appearance fee, I'm like, "You're pretty much at 2,500, bro." And he's like,
yep,
they don't believe you until they start doing the research themselves. But
yeah.
and you're right too. I mean, a lot of these people, like we had guys come out from California, like Northern California. We had people come out from East LA,
Hmm.
I want to say OC, and
Hmm.
they've come out some of them 2 years in a row. But it's like we want to give them an experience because we want them
Yeah,
to come back, or when they do come, to have a good time. So like it wasn't, they don't feel like it was a waste of time that they went out here.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and that's where like where I'm at. I know my solid shows that I go to every year, and some I just go because they're amazing, and there's events and certain things and that just happen, and I like to go there because I know I'm gonna get all the content, and I get to see everything and people, and hopefully next year I'm gonna get to go and experience that with other shows and different events in different cities and different states. It's always interesting to talk to people like yourself because I think like I said, you have the goal in mind, make things happen in this community, and there's not enough people that really understand that it takes a lot, and you guys do a lot of work.
Yeah, no, I know next year the goal. Well, I always try to set a goal, right? Because that's what at least for me, I need something to motivate me. So last
Mhm.
year we had 700 cars. This year we had 800 registered. Like I'm trying to register 1,000 next year. I know Kyle and John are probably going to kill me because they're going to say where we're going to fit them, but we're going to figure that out later. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So, but no, obviously that's a goal.
yeah,
We already kind of did some rearranging of some things, so we to have some more room. Hopefully, obviously there has to be enough interest, but I think that
mhm,
there is out this way that we can get up to 1,000. And like I told everybody, at least for me, I want to make this like a yearly thing. I
yeah.
want to make it like kind of like out here the big show is World of Wheels, which is like a hot rod show. I want this to be our hot rod, our World of Wheels.
Okay.
And as far as like I said, we get a lot of support throughout the Midwest and all over, so that's awesome. We couldn't do it without all those people.
Yeah.
Like I said, to try to just be supportive of everybody else and at the same time not step on anyone's toes. So,
Mhm.
like this year, like I said, I felt really bad because we stepped on Majestic's picnic out there in Detroit, and I told them that we'd make it a goal of ours not to do it again.
Yeah.
Again within within if it's possible, depending on the venue, and
Yeah.
looks like it's going to happen. And like the first year they came out, they brought out fuck I don't know like 20, almost 30 cars, and they had some come as
Nice.
far as California, Delano, and as far as Canada.
That's
So
far.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty far. And those guys, Skinny and them out there, man, all good guys. Right away, they hit me up. Anything you guys need, Jimmy, my guy out there in North Shore, good
Mhm.
dude. He's already on the phone. Seeing what he could do for next year. My guy
Yeah.
Lalo from Click, him and those guys. I'm sure Game Killer. He's come out
Yeah.
here. It's a beautiful
He's
car,
fun
but
anyway.
yeah, but honestly, bro, like we call that dude a celebrity, man. He's an all like remember Suge Knight said all in the videos, dancing and singing. You go and
Yeah.
type in Chicago Classic Super Show, and you'll see Game Killer in all the videos. Man, that guy's
Yeah.
he's a good dude, has a lot of fun, man, and that's what, like I said, that's what we want. Like he comes out here, he has a good time, like that's what it's
Yeah.
supposed to be.
Absolutely. I think I'm not sure. Did you have Peach Sunset at your show last year? The 66?
No, the 66 you're talking about?
Yeah.
Big John's wife
Yeah.
or girl, whatever.
Yeah.
No, I know they were out in Denver,
Oh, okay.
but
That's what it was.
yeah, but like perfect example. And it's funny you said Big John because he was out at the Chicago show with some hoppers, and I
Mm,
was like, hey, you want to go? I was like, you want me to do or die, bro? And he's like, "Ah," you know. And then
yeah.
seen him later on, and he told Kyle, I was like, hey man, he started singing a song. He's like, man, I got to go over there and watch him perform. And I was like, man, I go, I'll take you backstage, bro. But it just
Nice.
things just didn't work out or whatever. But again, I know Big John's coming all the way from Cali, bro. So
Yeah.
do whatever I got to do to try to make everybody feel welcome. Steve, I don't know if you know Steve from Dukes. He's come
Mm,
out here a couple years in a row. Good guy. Like try to
yeah.
make him feel welcome. Like I said, I can go on and on about all the people that came from out of state. Like I
Yeah.
said, we just try to make them feel welcome. Like I said, we just want them to all have a good, pleasant experience. So they want to come back.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think. Well, it sounds like you're making it happen out there, and I wish you the best of luck. Keep going, and only getting better. And just let me know when your next date is, and I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming on my podcast and just talking about the perspective from a promoter, and yeah, I really thank you for being on the podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me. Like I said, man, it's been a pleasure. I know Mango wants to shoot with you. She already told me she wants to shoot with you. Said, yeah, I guess you
Yeah.
guys already talked, so we'll see. Maybe we could make that happen next year in Chicago. And like I said, just thanks for having me. I appreciate your time, and we'll be in touch about the date.
All right, sounds good. Thank you once again.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Pinches Lowriders.